Research comprises creative work undertaken on a systematic basis in order to increase the stock of knowledge, including knowledge of humans, culture, and society, and the use of this stock of knowledge to devise new application. It is used to establish or confirm facts, reaffirm the result of previous work, solve new or existing problems, support theorem, or develop new theories. A research project may also be the expansion on past work in the field. Research project can be used to develop further knowledge on a topic. Or in the example of a school research project, they can be used to further a student research process to prepare them for further job or reports. To test the validity of instruments, procedures, or experiments, research may replicate, implements, or prior projects or the project as a whole. The primary purpose of the basic research, as opposed to applied research, are documentation, discovery, interpretation, or the research and development to methods of system of advancement of human knowledge. Approaches to research depends on epistemologies which vary considerably both within the between humanities and science. There are several forms of research: scientific, humanities, artistic, economic, social, business, marketing, practitioner research, life, technological, etc. Original research is a research that is not exclusively based on summary, review, or synthesis of earlier publications on the subject of research. This material of a primary source character. The purpose of original research is to produce new knowledge rather than to present the existing knowledge in a new form. Example: summarized or classified. Original research can take a number of forms depending on the discipline it pertains to. In experimental work, it typically involves direct or indirect observation of the research subject. Example: in the laboratory or in the field of documents and the methodology, result and conclusion of experiment or set of experiment, or offers a novel interpretation of previous results. In analytical work, there are typically some new, for example, mathematical results produced or a new way of approaching an existing problem. In some subjects who do not typically carry out experimentation or analysis of this kind, the originality is the particular way existing understanding is changed or reinterpreted based on the outcome of the work of the researcher. The degree of originality of the research is among major criteria for articles to be published in academic journals and usually established by means of peer review. Graduate students are commonly required to perform original research as a part of a dissertation. Systematic investigative process employed to increase or revise current knowledge by discovering new facts. It is divided into two general categories. First, basic research is inquiry aimed at increasing scientific knowledge, and second, applied research is effort aimed at using basic research for solving problems or developing new processes, products, or techniques. Methodology is the systematic theoretical analysis of the methods applied to a field of study. Typically, it encompasses concepts such as paradigm, theoretical model, phases, and quantitative or qualitative techniques. Definition: the word research is derived from the Middle French rechercher, which means to go about seeking, the term itself being derived from the Old French term researcher. The compound word from rechercher or searcher means search. A broad definition of research is given by Godwin Colibau. In the broadest sense of the word, the definition of research includes any gathering of data, information, and facts for the advancement of knowledge. Another definition of research is given by John W. Criswell. who states that research is a process of steps used to collect and analyze information to increase our understanding of a topic or issue. It consists of three steps: pose a question, collect data to answer the question, and present an answer to the question. The Merriam-Webster online dictionary defines research in more detail, and a studious inquiry or examination, especially investigation or experimentation aimed at the discovery and interpretation of facts, revisions of accepted theories or laws in the light of new facts, or practical applications of such new or revised theories of law. Research is a careful inquiry or examination in seeking facts or principles, a diligent investigation to ascertain something. Clifford Woody. It is the process of arriving at dependable solution to the problems through the planned and systematic collection, analysis and interpretation of data. Morley. Research compromises creative work undertaken on the systematic basis in order to increase the stock of knowledge, including knowledge of man, culture, and society, and the use of this stock of knowledge to devise new applications. Scientific research is a systematic way of gathering data, a harnessing of curiosity. This research provides scientific information and theories for the explanation of the nature and the properties of the world. It makes practical applications possible. Scientific research is funded by the public authorities, by charitable organizations, and by private groups. Including many companies, scientific research can be subdivided into different classifications according to their academic and application discipline. Scientific research is a widely used criteria for judging the standing of an academic institution, such a business school, but some argue that such an inaccurate assessment of the institution because the quality of research does not tell about the quality of teaching. These do not necessarily correctly totally. The broad definition of research is given by Martin Shuttleworth in the broad-based sense of the word. The definition of research include a gathering of data, information, and facts of the advancement of knowledge. Another definition of research is given by Cruiswell, who states that research is a process of steps used to collect and analyze information to increase our understanding of the topic or issue. It consists of three steps: pose a question, collect data to answer the question, and present an answer to the question. Importance of research. The purpose of research is to inform action. Thus, your study should seek to contextualize its finding within the larger body of research. For example, you can present your research finding at various venues such as the Unite for Sight sponsored Global Health and Innovation Conferences. The purpose of a research design is to provide a plan of study that permits accurate assessment of cause and effect relationship between independent and dependent variables. The classic controlled experiment is an ideal example of good research design. Findings reason why research is important seems like a no-brainer, but many people avoid getting involved in research. The lazy, of if not mentally drained, students could say not again, and a disinterested academic could just be doing it for promotion purposes. Yet, for those who like to learn, whether or not they are members of learning institutions, doing research is not just imperative but a need, a tool for building knowledge and efficient learning, an aid to business success and job search, means to understand various issues, a way to prove lies and to support truths, a seed to love reading, writing, analyzing, and sharing valuable information, nourishment and exercise for mind. Research is basically an act of studying something carefully and thoroughly as so to obtain deep knowledge of the same. To be successful, research needs to be organized, summarized, and recorded correctly. Research isn't just a process which is restricted to the field of science. It can as well appeal to the people and scholars from artistic, historic, or any other field where the person would prefer to do extensive study to obtain relevant information. The following aspects emphasize the significance and importance of research for government. Government policies. Research offers the foundation for almost all government policies in our economic system. For instance, government's budget rests in part on an analysis of the requirements of people and on the availability of revenues to fulfill those requirements. The expense of need should be equated to possible revenues, and this is an area where research is most needed. Through proper research, we can easily develop alternative policies and can well take a look at the effects of each of these options. Allocations of natural resources. The government has to prepare programs for copying with all elements of the country's existence, and most of these will be associated directly or indirectly to economic conditions. The plight of cultivators, the difficulties faced by big and small enterprises and industries, working conditions, trade union activities, the challenges of distribution, even the size and character of defense service are issues which requires research. The research is mandatory with regards to the allocation of nation's resources. Social welfare. Lack of knowledge and understanding is the real cause of various social events. Communal issues, religious riots, the misnomer of social racial superiority are outcomes of ignorance. With the help of research, you are able to do away with all these wrong notions. Research is useful in the welfare and progress of humanity and the society. Analysis of economic structure. Research is essential for accumulating of data on the economic and social structure of the country. This type of information reveals what exactly is going on in the economy and what adjustments are taking place. Gathering such statistical data involves a number of research problems. Educational research. Educational research refers to a variety of methods in which individuals evaluate different aspects of education, including students' learning, teaching methods, teacher training, and classroom dynamics. There are variety of disciplines which are each present to some degree in the educational research. Educational research is a scientific field of study that examines education and learning processes and the human attributes, interaction, organization, and institutions that shape educational outcomes. Scholarship in the field seek to describe, understand, and explain how learning takes place throughout a person's life and how formal and informal context of education affects all form of learning. Education research embraces the full spectrum of rigorous method appropriate to the questions being asked and also derives the development of new tools and methods, a cyclical process of steps that typically begins with identifying a research problem or issue of study. It then involves reviewing of literature, specifying a purpose for the study, collecting and analyzing data, and forming an interpretation of information. This process culminates in a report disseminated to audience that is evaluated and used in the educational community. Educational research refers to the systematic collection and analysis of data related to the field of education. Research may involve a variety of methods. Research may involve various aspects of the education, including students' learning, teaching method, teacher training, and classroom dynamics. Educational research generally agree that research should be rigorous and systematic. However, there is less agreement about specific standards, criteria, and research procedures. Educational researchers may draw upon a variety of disciplines. These disciplines include psychology, sociology, anthropology, and philosophy. Methods may be drawn from a range of disciplines. Conclusion drawn from an individual research study may be limited by the characteristics of the participants who were studied and the conditions under which the study was conducted. Research may involve various aspects of education, including students' learning, teaching methods, teacher training, and classroom dynamics. Definition: educational research defined as a systematic collection of an analysis of data related to the field of education by Dr. Parveen Taj M. Education research is defined as the scientific field of study that examines education and learning processes and the human attributes, interaction, and institutions that shape educational outcomes by Dr. Rashai. Scholarships in the field seek to describe, understand, and explain how learning takes place throughout a person's life and how formal and informal contexts of education affect all forms of learning. Education research embraces the full spectrum of rigorous method appropriate to the questions being asked and also derives the development of new tools and methods. B.Ed outlined 10 aspects of educational research. Educational research attempts to solve a problem. Research involves gathering new data from primary or first-hand source or using existing data for a new purpose. Research is based upon observable experiences and empirical evidences. Research demands accurate observation and description. Research generally employs carefully designed procedures and rigorous analysis. Research emphasizes the development of generalization, principles, or theories that will help in understanding prediction and or control. Research requires expertise, familiarity with the field, competence in the methodology, technical skills in collecting and analyzing the data. Research attempts to find an objective, unbiased solution to the problem and task great pains to validate the procedure employed. Research is a deliberate and unhurried activity which is directional but often refines the problem or questions and the research progresses. Research is carefully recorded and reported to other persons instead in the problem. Concept of educational research. Educational research refers to the variety of methods in which individuals evaluate different aspects of education including students' learning, teaching methods, teacher training, and classroom dynamics. Educational researchers have come to the consensus that educational research must be conducted in a rigorous and systematic way. Although what this implies is often debated, there are variety of disciplines which are each present to some degree in educational research. These include psychology, sociology, anthropology, and philosophy. The overlap in disciplines creates a broad range from which methodology can be drawn. The findings of educational research also need to be interpreted within the context in which they will be discovered, as they may not be applicable in every time or place. Education research is often carried out in naturalistic settings that may carry threats to the validity of the study, such as loss of subjects, selection bias, historical events, or maturation. Educational research therefore differs from other type of research which you may be more familiar, such as clinical or laboratory research. Educational research draws on different research and theoretical paradigm from scientific research. which has traditionally been grounded in a positive stance. Educational research draws largely from the social science in this approach. Research method and interpretations of research and may involve a shift in perspective from the seeking of irrefutable facts and universal truths to offering new insights, acknowledging the subjectivity of researchers, the impact of the research processes itself on the subject and outcomes, and the agencies of the subject of the research. Nonetheless, this does not make educational research and its method less rigorous or valid than those of the physical sciences, but they may require researchers to take a different approaches, draw from different body of knowledge, and take particular care over study designs and consideration of confounding variables. The nature of educational research is analogous with the nature of research itself, which is systematic, reliable, and valid to if find the truth, investigates knowledge, and solve problems. Moreover, educational research processes involve steps to collect the information in order to investigate problems and knowledge. However, the educational research is more complex because it can use various approaches and strategies to solve problems in educational settings. It also can involve many disciplines such as anthropology, sociology, behavior, and history. In addition to educational research is important because of contributing knowledge development, practical improvement, and policies information. Therefore, educators can use those research findings to improve their competence and teaching and learning processes. Furthermore, the characteristics of educational research are a part of its nature. According to B.Ed, there are 10 characteristics of educational research. I tried to classify those into three categories, which are the purpose of research, the procedures of research, the role of the researcher. The purpose of research are to solve the problems, investigate knowledge, and establish the principle in the educational phenomena. In short, it focuses on solving the problem and developing knowledge. Furthermore, the procedure is an important characteristic of educational research, which involves collecting data with accurate observation, objective interpretation, and verification. Finally, researchers need to be expert and familiar with their field of study, using the data to develop solution and increase knowledge. The researchers also need to be patient and careful to use every step of researcher's procedure to achieve the purpose of research. Purpose of educational research. The purpose of psychological research is to study the key variable about a human being, how they behave, think, feel, believe, etc. Therefore, an educational psychology study will examine student performance, student motivation, student attitudes, student beliefs, teachers' knowledge, etc. Researchers conduct educational research in order to come up with new findings that help educators become better informed about teaching practices, learning motivation, classroom management, and human development. And these help teachers more effectively educate their students. Administrators and counselors also benefit from these findings as they learn to better understand how students learn and develop. The educational research process follows the scientific method, and researchers can choose to do descriptive or experimental research. Descriptive research seeks to describe something that is happening, and it may focus on people, an organization, or a specific setting. The research design may be simple and just involve collecting data for purpose of describing one thing, or it may be comparative and focus on multiple participants. Another type of descriptive research is correlational research. Its purpose is to see how two variables are related. Experimental research, on the other hand, involves coming up with specific research questions that need answered. For example, the researcher may be curious about what affects student achievement and then choose on factors to analyze. Unlike with descriptive research, the participants in the kind of study are randomly selected. One group would receive some special treatment to determine whether the variable actually has an effect, while other would not receive this treatment. Both types of educational research reap the benefits of helping educators better understand their students and learn new practices that have been proven to be beneficial to students. Scope of educational research. The scope of a subject can usually be discussed under two heads: the branches, topics, and the subject matter it deals with, the limits of its operation and applications. The field of educational research can be classified in terms of following content area: educational psychology, philosophy of education, sociology of education, economic of education, educational administration, comparative education, curriculum construction and textbooks, educational measurement and text development, teacher education and teacher behavior, guidance and counseling, educational technology. Educational psychology. Research in educational psychology has great significance for a teacher. The usefulness of various theories of learning for designing conditions that procedure effective learning in a school has been the central theme of researchers in the recent years. Conditions conducive to effective learning, factors helpful in promoting memory and concept formation, need attention by the researchers. Promising field of research in educational psychology include cognitive, non-cognitive factors such as intelligence, aptitudes, creativity, attitudes, interest, motivation, personality traits, need and adjustment of pupils, various influences of home, neighborhood, peer relationships, and other social relationships that affect child development. Growth and learning are worth investigating. The fundamental process of perception, learning, and motivation and their application, the exceptional children and the adolescents' problem, achievement, etc., should be studied. Philosophy of education. Education is the dynamic side of philosophy. Unless based on the sound footing of a systematic philosophy, its theory and practice can never attain perfection. Promising field of research in philosophy of education include the following areas: the aim of education, the motivation of learning, the measurements, its results, the construction of curriculum, the study of utterances of Vyasa and Valmiki, Buddha, Shankaracharya, Swami Vivekananda, Sri Aurobindo, Tagore, and Mahatma Gandhi, a philosophical analysis of the problems of interdiscipline, unrest, strikes, disobedience of the authority, etc. P.S. Naidu too has listed following area of philosophy of education in which the research may be undertaken: need for philosophy of education, special features of Indian philosophy and Indian education, Indian philosophical thought, the teacher-learner interrelation and interaction, some ancient educational institutions, the abiding elements in Indian philosophy of education, reorganization of education to make it India on the basis of exposition attempted so far. Sociology of education. With the increasing emphasis on sociological foundation of education, the interaction of the two disciplines of education and sociology is getting attention of Indian researchers and more. The important problems of research related to sociology of education include the study of population explosion and changes, demographic trends, and the impact of political and social pressures on an educational system. Educational aim, curriculum contents, method and techniques in teaching learning process conducive to socio-economic and political cultural situations prevailing in the country from time to time. The role or function of a school may be determined in the light of the needs of the specific community background. The problem of delinquency, the study of social factors and cultural backgrounds of the community important. Problems relating to tribal cultures, rural community, community development, industrialization, urbanization, crime, and family should be investigated. The problems like teachers' role as an agent of social change and modernization, teachers' admissions, and academic achievement in the school need to be investigated on the priority basis. Economic and education. Studies in economics and education include attitude studies and achievement tests. Very few studies have been made in educational finance. Some researchers have recently studied the 5-year plan allocations and their utilization. A recent study relates to the unit institutional cost of higher education. Educational administration. Most of the work in this area is more or less of survey type. It would be worthwhile to undertake research in the area of staff personnel administration, educational legislation, educational planning, school plant planning, school organization, business administration, evaluation of institution, administrative theory and supervision. Researchers may study the place and scope of collective bargaining in education, the impact of compulsory education laws, legal status of voluntary organizations in the administration and control of education. Comparative education. This include analyzing the educational organization and administrative machinery of two or more countries. Problems like education and national development in the terms of economic growth, educational control and reorganization of curriculum, the role of universities, social education and so on may be subjects of purposeful research. The innovative ideas of work experiences in the country and granting autonomous status to some colleges etc. need a comparative probe to them. Odd has suggested that the interstate study in grant hand aid system and administrative pattern would be fruitful. It will be worthwhile to make a comparative study of the procedures, problems of the textbook production, the quality of textbooks production, and the teacher's reaction to them. Curriculum construction and textbooks. The school curriculum will be effective insofar as it is based on adequate knowledge of how children grow and learn and of the need of the modern society. The latter is the matter of public relation and former of research. The research is curriculum needs to be focused on the following issues: testing experimentally all principles of curriculum construction, curriculum in education that will produce better result in morals, to investigate into the source of curriculum content, what is bearing of psychology on the curriculum, what are the future needs of pupil as far as curriculum is concerned, what should be the method in curriculum making etc., educational measurement and test development. This includes the following area like construction and standardization of achievement test, problem relating to pupil placement, diagnosis, remedial programs, norms, psychological test, observational techniques, rating scales, group test of intelligence and aptitude, personality test, etc. Teacher education and teaching behavior. Teacher education has received notable attention of educational researchers. These studies relate to the area's historical development of teacher education, curriculum and training programs, co-curriculum and practical work, assessment, evaluation and prediction of teaching. Some studies have been concerned with the attitude of teachers and student teachers towards various parts of the pre-service and in-service programs. Personal economic and socio-economic conditions of teachers have also been studied. Guidance and counseling. The area are vocational adjustment of Indian youth, vocational choices and adjustment, long-term manpower need, future need and the study of aptitudes, social economic status, interest pattern and other personality dimension. Test of the intelligence special aptitude like art, science and music, special skills and scholastic aptitude etc.